drama school auditions aren't difficult and challenging enough as they are that you insist with a massive naive smile on your face on putting more hurdles and more obstacles in your way to make it even more difficult for yourself to actually get the offers that you want. Welcome back if you have been here before, and if you haven't, then welcome. Come on in, the water's fine. How you doing? I'm Louise, I'm an acting coach, and I specialise in getting people ready for drama school auditions and getting the offers at some of the top schools in the UK, including these ones. And today we are talking about how you can make audition season as easy for yourself as is humanly possible. Now let's get real here. The sheer number of people auditioning every single year makes the whole ordeal very competitive and very oversubscribed. So getting an offer at one of these schools is a challenge in and of itself. But there are ways that people make it unnecessarily harder for themselves, and that is precisely what you need to avoid in order to actually give yourself the best chance that you can. Like most things, it is about working smarter, not harder. So these are my 4 suggestions for what you should be doing to make the audition process as easy as possible. You've got to prepare early. Don't apply to every school under the sun. Do not choose challenging speeches, and limit your self-tape takes. And believe me, there are so many more things that you could be doing to actually avoid that massive difficulty. And if you're interested in assessing where you personally are at currently within your audition process, if you're wanting to delve further into your audition preparation, your confidence levels, speech choices, text analysis, blah, 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 and you fancy some guidance, then get in touch, because I offer one-to-one coaching options. And that is for all stages of the audition process. So whether that is through your application stages, choosing your material, choosing your skills, actually applying, doing your self-tapes, doing recall auditions, doing interviews at the very tail end of those. If you want help with any of that, then all of the details for contacting me are in the description box below. So let's start with preparing early. Now this may sound self-explanatory, but let me put this into context. Let me put it into perspective for you for the audition season. Most drama schools have converted to the first round being a self-tape audition system, meaning that you will not be in person auditioning for your first round. So what happens now is that you apply directly to the school or via UCAS, and then you are given a self-tape deadline. But here's where the catch comes in. Your self-tape deadline could be anywhere between 2 and 4 weeks from the moment that you pushed the submit button. So if you've actually applied before you even looked at new speeches, got any of it up on its feet, rehearsed it, learned it, knew what the heck a self-tape was, if you did the application before actually putting the work in, then you are going to spend probably the next 2 weeks scrambling, panicking, trying to figure out what the heck you're doing. Because what it means is that you've got 2 weeks to read a ton of speeches, decide on a speech, read the plays from the speeches, do the text breakdown, actually rehearse it, learn it, get it all off book, then film it, actually do the self-tape, do several takes of the self-tape, then edit your final copy together, actually polish it off, and then upload it to the school. This is of course whilst you may be in school or in college or actually working or just genuinely trying to have a life. It is a lot. The solution? Prepare in advance. Get your speeches chosen and prepared ahead of you actually sending the application. This is so that you don't descend into panic stations. Because check it out, panic doesn't really make your self-tape any better. Doesn't really make your work shine. It kind of just makes it suffer. Because speeches don't like to be rushed. So prepare ahead of time. The next thing is, don't apply to every school under the sun. Now look, you do you at the end of the day, but if you were thinking that you were going to apply to 20 or 30 schools all over the UK or even further abroad in the span of one audition season over the course of 1 year, I can anticipate that you're going to run into some troubles and you're going to actually make more work for yourself that isn't actually necessary. You will likely crumble under the load, the sheer vast load of material that you'll have to develop and actually get off book for each individual school. Because check it out, each school will ask for a slightly different thing. Then you've got all of the self-tapes and all of the deadlines. And then that it doesn't even take into account the fact that you may be getting recalls that you need to schedule in because they will be in person. Again, it's a lot. So why are you doing this to yourself? Are you okay? Who hurt you? Whose approval do you need? Now it might be that you are thinking in doing this, in choosing to apply to 20 or 30 schools, increases the chance of you getting accepted somewhere. And whilst, yes, I will admit, maths and probability and science is a thing, that yes, the more schools you apply to, the more likely it is you're going to get a place. Huzzah. But let me ask you something. Out of those 25 schools, do you actually even like a handful of them? Would you actually be happy to accept a place on a course, on an acting course in bumfuck nowhere that no one's ever heard of, that has really no reputation behind it, probably no resources, but hey, it's got a BA in acting, so I'm going to apply for it. You genuinely think that you're going to be really overjoyed to go there and graduate from there, and you think that that's going to garner you a really good career? I mean, it might. Who the heck am I to know? But the likelihood is it's a no. That, and with your attention split in so many different directions just to try and actually submit self-tapes and attend all of these different auditions, the likelihood is your actual work, your craft, your talent will not be showcased in a really representative and accurate way because you will be spread too thin. So my advice is be more picky, be more discerning with the decisions that you are making. Do the research into the schools and actually ask yourself, would I be delighted to get an acceptance email through from this school? And if the answer is no, discard them. There is no point in applying and auditioning at a school that you do not care about. It's like going on a date with someone going, I'm not attracted to them. I don't like them. Maybe they're a bit misogynistic. Maybe they've got some issues, but it's a date, so I'll go on the date. No, of course you're not. You're just going to say no, and that is okay because time is finite. So apply to less schools, be more mindful of the schools that you're actually applying to so that your workload is less, so that you actually have the capacity to do your best work for the schools that you actually want to go to. Next up, and my personal favorite, is do not choose challenging speeches. Now look, transformation, exploration, stretching yourself, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone in a creative space is so valuable, so fundamental to what it is to be an actor. But don't do it for drama school auditions. Wait for training. Wait until you're actually on the course to do that shit. Don't do it in drama school auditions. Stop it. Stop. The audition is challenging enough without you going, do you know what, I'm going to choose a speech that I can't do well. What? Why? Choose something that you can do well because that will showcase you to do well. For the life of me, I have no idea why actors insist on choosing material that they go, do you know what, this is a massive stretch. I don't understand this character. It is so far removed from me. The language is really complex and I don't understand it. Oh, this is going to be so emotionally exposing for me and I've never done this before. It's so challenging. Why? And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you exactly why people decide to do this. And it's entirely the wrong thing. But they think, do you know what, if I bring this into an audition room, the audition panel are going to sit there in stunned silence and then eventually what they will say, oh, look how much of a challenge that is for them. Look how much effort it is taking for them. So brave, so bold. Well, I mean, it's a no-brainer. We have to offer them a place on this course. No, we have to offer them a place on second year. They get to skip first year. No, fuck that. Give them a place in third year. Let them just graduate. Give them an Olivier Award. Give them an Oscar. The sheer beauty. I am blind. My eyes cannot take the absolute awe-inspiring beauty of that fucking performance. When in fact the audition panel will simply sit there and say, that was rough, wasn't it? Because they want to see something that is close to you. They want to see something that is simple and to the point. They want to see something that they believe to be you. They don't want to see you putting a character on top and reaching leaps and bounds to some imaginative place that is so far from you that it is actually such a struggle and a challenge, and it shows off the struggle and the challenge for you to even embody it. That's not good. They just want to see you having a chat as a human being. So leave the challenging speeches alone. Allow training to be the place that happens, because it will happen whilst it is being guided by acting professionals. And finally, limit your self-tape takes. Now, I've talked about this in previous videos, but it is worth noting again and again and again, because my God, is it like fairy dust. It is so incredibly important and very, very magical. Limit your self-tape takes. So the general rule is that for every speech that you have to self-tape, so say if you're doing 2 speeches, you do 4 takes per speech. So if you've got 2 speeches, you're doing 8 takes total. And if your speeches are running at roughly 2 to 3 minutes, with all of the stopping and starting and resetting and lights and all of this kind of stuff, that shouldn't take you more than 40 minutes to do. Because why are you dedicating hour upon hour upon hour upon day upon life to get a self-tape submitted? Chill out. Because by limiting your takes, you become incredibly mindful of what you're using those takes to achieve. You're going to be very intentional and very deliberate with what you choose to do within each take. So nothing goes for free. It also really helps in the choosing process. Instead of just shooting again and again and again and again and again and having to wade through 20 to 30 different takes per speech, you're only looking through 4. And 4 is a lot easier to choose from than 30. Along with the fact that the more and more you shoot and the more footage you have to rummage through, the less and less time you will end up having, and the more panicked you will feel. So do yourself a favor and don't do that. Do the better thing. Do less takes. So there you go. That is a pretty logical and practical approach to how you can make audition season that little bit easier, even though the whole process is relatively hard anyway. And if you're interested in actually getting ahead of the audition game, then why don't you just consider a cheeky book coaching? Because my books are currently open. Have fun. So if you're looking at getting an outside perspective on your speech choices, how you're actually bringing yourself to the speeches, how you're using the language, how you're honoring the text analysis, the character development, your self-tapes, your recall stages, your interview technique, any of those things that you're a bit unsure of, then coaching can really help you. So if you're interested in that, all of the details for how you can contact me, get in touch with me, coach, are in the description box below. Because the thing is, not only do I sit on the audition panels that you're actually auditioning for, I also train the actors at the drama schools that you're auditioning for. So I kind of know what I'm talking about. But hey, in the meantime, do the liking, do the subscribing, do the sharing with other people so that they can do the watching, and then we can all do the learning and evolving and growing together. But until next time, thank you so much.